Welcome to the Year 6 Science Fair. Inheritance Adaptation, Charles Darwin's Theory of Evolution and the Evidence of Evolution. This is a word cloud that I made on a website, and it has all the main words we've been looking at and the main vocabulary in our science lessons this term. What did we look at? Term 2 to 3. In our class, we've been looking at inheritance adaptation, Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, and the evidence of evolution. For the evolution aspect, we researched and observed photos of animal and plant fossils and looked at Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. The main animals we closely observed were birds, specifically finches. What did we look at? Continued. For the inheritance and adaptation aspect, we did a fun investigation and looked at photos of our family and compared the differences and the similarities between our different family members in the photo. We also did another fun task where we merged one of the Little Miss characters and one of the Mr. Men characters to make one child, which showed what the child inherited from his mother and father. And that was a brief idea of what we've been doing this term in science. Inheritance and adaptation. Inheritance. By looking at the photos I mentioned, the family photos, we concluded that we all inherited different parental traits, such as hair color, eye shape, skin color, etc. Adaptation, we learned that an adapted trait is not a parental inherited trait, but a choice that you choose/make, such as your favorite color or your favorite food. So, the difference between inheritance. Inheritance is something that you take from your parents. For example, the eye color, maybe you either take it from your mother or your father. But adaptation is basically, for example, it's something that is not necessarily something that your father or mother chose, and you have to choose the same thing. For example, your favorite color, as I said. The evolution aspect. Charles Darwin was a scientist who studied the evolution of animals, and he closely observed finches and made a theory about it, which we also looked at and studied, the theory of evolution. Evidence of evolution. We also proved that evolution does exist by looking at photos, and I looked at turtles. The turtle fossils seem to differ. An early photo of a turtle's fossil showed that it didn't have a shell. So, if you can see the photo on the right side of the screen, that photo is a more modern one, and I will explain why. But a more modern one had a shell, which meant that evolution does exist, since nowadays turtles do have shells. So there's a transformation between the about a million years ago, and now, as you can see, turtles have shells. But other photos showed that they didn't have shells, but that was a fossil. That means nearly a couple of million years ago. So yeah. And thank you for reading and discovering what we've been looking at. And I hope you enjoyed the Year 6 Fun Fair by Kareem Ali.